It was the morning of day 2 on our very first Disney cruise, and I woke up bright and early to see us docked at sunny Nassau Port. While the rest of my family headed out for an excursion, my husband Adam and I decided to stay on the ship to explore. Since we were first-time cruisers on our very first Disney cruise, I thought it'd be a lot more fun to explore what the ship had to offer. So if you've never been on the Disney Dream before, come on and explore with us. I also had about 50 ducks to hide, and I thought it would be a lot easier to hide them when the ship isn't that full. So it's time for us to explore! We started at Deck 11 for a quick nosh at Cabanas, the ship's buffet restaurant. They only served breakfast and lunch, so we only had the usual eggs and bacon. After breakfast was done, I was able to finally hop on the AquaDuck for the very first time. I figured at this time, since most people would be off the ship, that I'd be able to ride the AquaDuck a few times. But the wait was still pretty long, about 40 minutes, and I was only willing to do it once if I had to wait that long. After that, I started to work my way down the ship's decks. As you know, Deck 11 has the Cabanas buffet, but there was also the gym where I dropped Adam off, the Senses Spa. There's quick service foods like burgers, pizzas, and ice cream. Vanellope's Sweet Shop. There's also the Cove Cafe and the Cove Bar, as well as the pools, lounge chairs, and the Edge Tween Club, as well as the Funnel Vision. For those who made reservations at Remy and Paolo, they were on Deck 12. Deck 10s to 6 were all staterooms, so there wasn't much to show there. A quick note, if you're staying on these floors, the stars on the carpet will show you which direction you are walking in the ship. Walking towards the tip of the star means you're walking forward, and the bottom 2 points, if you're walking that direction, that means you're walking towards the aft. Each of these stateroom-only decks also have self-service laundry open 24/7, where you could use it to wash your clothes for a nominal fee. This is also where you could find the iron to iron your clothing if you need to. It's free to use since irons are not permitted on the ship, and this is pretty much the only place you could find them. While prowling the stateroom decks, I also got to check out some door decorations. You'll notice some doors have these hanging gift pouches by the door. They're called fish extenders for if you want to coordinate with other guests for a gift exchange. We decided not to do it this time since we already had 50 ducks to hide and I didn't want to overdo it on our first cruise. If you want to know what I'm talking about when I'm mentioning these ducks, I explained it all on day 1, over here, or over there. So once I got to Deck 5, there was the Vibe Teen Club, the It's a Small World Nursery, the Oceaneers Club, the Oceaneers Lab, and Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. Deck 4 has the Buena Vista Theater, the top level of the Walt Disney Theater, and the more adult spaces and lounge areas like Pink, Pub 687, the District Lounge, and the D Lounge. There's also Shutters and the Vista Cafe for your morning coffee or afternoon coffee. Deck 3 has the main entry to the Walt Disney Theater. It also has most of the shops to get your merch. There's guest services, the atrium where you enter and where you'll exit, the restaurants that are part of your rotational dining like the Royal Palace and the Animator's Palette. Deck 2 has the Vista Gallery and the Enchanted Garden restaurant. And finally, Deck 1 has the Health Center. So that's a very brief tour of most of the attractions on the Disney Dream. I'll have a much more in-depth ship tour in an upcoming video, so if you're interested, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll know when it's coming. After I finished exploring the ship, I ended up at Cabanas again so I could try out their taco bar. I have no videos or clips of it because I just gobbled it down really quickly. But just so you know, Cabanas has an international offering that rotates every night aside from their usual stuff. The offerings tend to be something like Asian, Indian, or today was tacos. And even though I had a taco lunch, I still met up with Adam for second lunch, you know, for my second stomach. And of course, we decided to go to the Royal Palace for a sit-down meal. Since I was kind of full-ish from the first lunch, I went a little light and got the sliced Serrano ham and the fried calamari. The Serrano ham was just the usual salty cold cuts with cheese. I probably should have ordered something else like the burgers because the ham is kind of boring and you could kind of get it anywhere, who cares, right? But the fried calamari was super yummy, especially with the aioli sauce that came with it. Adam got the marinated stem artichokes, so healthy, and the grilled fillet of halibut. He said the artichokes were very refreshing and tasty, but he could have passed on the halibut. It just didn't measure up to the salmon from the night before, and I totally get it. Despite the disappointing second lunch, I did have my favorite dish of the whole cruise for dinner. And yes, it is on the Pirate Night menu that everybody skips because they don't like the menu. It's the same kind of menu on every single Pirate Night. But I don't think I've seen this dish mentioned in any other YouTube videos that I've watched, so keep watching if you want to know what it is. Anyways, after that, we finally partook in some activities. There was an adult origami event where we contorted our fingers to make a little box, a penguin, and a flower. I used to be obsessed with origami, so this was actually a really nice trip down memory lane. We also got to ride the frontmost elevator on the atrium, which had some really cute surprise art. In our cabin, we were greeted with the Pirate Night bandanas that we could use for Pirate Night, but we already came prepared. I brought a whole ensemble for Adam and myself. It was so fun to get into the festivities, and we were ready for the night to begin. So off we went to dinner again at the Royal Palace, but this time with the Pirate Night menu. The place was buzzing and I just loved seeing everyone else in their pirate gear, even the waitstaff. And the kids menu was also in this hat shape that you could wear if you want. I love Disney, they just think of everything. Now, from all of the Disney cruise videos that I've watched, a lot of people tend to just dismiss the Pirate Night menu and skip it entirely, so I wasn't really expecting much. Between Adam and I, we ordered the Sri Shumbaji vegetable samosa. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, I'm sorry, I will have the name on the screen. And we also got the deep fried calypso crab cakes for our appetizers. The crab cakes tasted fine, but it was on the gooey side, which Adam didn't care for, I didn't either. But the samosa was very well spiced and we both thought it was delicious. For our dinner entrees, Adam got Cortez's cilantro marinated Caribbean grouper fillet. He really enjoyed the fish. He says Disney really knows how to do their fish, for the most part. He did say the rice didn't really add much to it. It was kind of dry and hard. For me, I got King George's roasted privateer strip loin and the braised barbecue beef rib salad, which is under the lighter fare section. I decided to get 2 entrees because none of the desserts sounded really appealing to me, and it's vacation, so I'm gonna order 2 entrees. And it feels like the braised barbecue could be my dessert, right? It's sweet, right? Yeah. Not that I'm trying to justify my choices to you, because we're on vacation here and calories just don't count on vacation. And one of the entrees that I ordered was hands down my favorite meal of this entire trip. No, it was not the strip loin, which was pretty boring and dry if we're being honest. It was the braised barbecue rib. I was not expecting how amazing this dish was. The meat was melt in your mouth, delicious. The breaded corn and the crushed macadamia nuts gave it a bit of crunchy texture, and the tangy tomato sour cream dressing gave it a bit of acidity to cut through the richness. And it had a sweet and savory barbecue sauce. This was the perfect entree, the kind you just keep thinking about days after eating. After dinner, we ran up to the top deck to try to get a nice spot for the Pirates Night show. Mickey's Pirates in the Caribbean. It was a very lively event with some fun dance numbers, a sing-along, and some guy we started calling a codfish.
Who is the codfish? Who is the codfish?
With the first show done, we went back to our cabin to rest a bit. Once we entered our stateroom, we were greeted with a towel person thing. People say it's supposed to be Davy Jones. I guess I could see the resemblance. At some point, I stopped by my parents' room to find them ordering some room service. My dad felt like he just didn't have enough for dinner for some reason, so he got himself some chicken soup and burgers with fries. He had no comment on the chicken soup other than that it's too small, and that the burgers and fries wasn't that special. Now, I wish I had a longer stay during the cruise just so I could order everything on room service just to review it, but given that this was our first Disney cruise with just 4 nights on board, we wanted to experience the rotational dining and see what the buffet is about first before we go all out with other things. So I couldn't really fit in ordering everything from room service because I just didn't want to be wasteful either. But that's okay, because that just means I have to go on another Disney cruise so I can make the video, right? Yes, for science. So since the fireworks were expected to start somewhere around 10 p.m., we had some time to kill, so we went to deck 3 to check out the shops to see what they had to offer. Good time just browsing around. There was a lot to look at, and I'll show you what I picked up in a future video. About 15 minutes before the show, we headed up to the top deck to try to secure another good spot for the fireworks show. The event was called the Pirates Rocking Parlay Party, which includes fireworks at sea. So we ended up securing a good spot for the show itself, and we got to see Jack Sparrow and his friends run around and do wacky things. But we got a little bamboozled when it came to the fireworks. Our spot was just not the best place to view the fireworks. I did manage to get a bit of footage for myself and borrowed a bit from my parents as well. But for anyone going on the Disney Dream who wants a good spot for the fireworks, go to the top deck on the port side. The port side is basically the left side if you're looking straight at the funnel vision. That should get you the best unobstructed view of the fireworks, unlike me, which was under some awning. After that, the pirate deck party started with some really hoppin' music, but by then we were just so tired that we went back to our stateroom and just passed out. Now, if you're just joining us and want to see how it started, just click this next video for our Embarkation Day 1.